let's talk mock draft. Marshall, do you have a preference? Would you like evens or odds?
Um,
I don't have a coin on me, but we could flip one if we need to.
Zach, do you have a
I
coin
got.
on you?
Oh yeah. Who wants heads? Who
Okay.
wants tails?
Tails never fails,
All right,
baby. Give me
okay.
that.
Ooh, Marshall has
Yeah,
tails.
there
Here
we
we
go.
go. Marshall starts.
All right.
All
Hell yeah.
right.
So
Good.
I
I actually wanted to pick
So Marshall
evens.
has evens. Billy has odds.
No, I have evens.
Okay.
Marshall has odds because Marshall has one.
All
So,
right. NHL placeholder team, probably the Canadians, is now on the clock. Who are you picking at number one?
this is a hard one for me. Just kidding. Alexis Lafreniere. Come on. Get up to the get up to the podium. Let's put on that Habs jersey. Uh yeah.
it's happening. You heard it here first. He's going to the Habs.
This kid is absolutely electric. I mean, he was back to back like Canadian Player of the Year. Had 2.15 points per game this season, with 112 points in only 52 games played. This kid is gonna be the next Sidney Crosby, in my opinion.
Okay, I was going to ask you current NHL comparable. So Sidney Crosby, you think?
Yep, I'm thinking Sidney Crosby plays
Okay.
a lot like him. Doesn't have that like absolute explosiveness to his game like a Connor McDavid,
Mm-hmm.
but plays a very technical game and is very highly skilled, much like Crosby. So yeah, I'm saying Crosby is my pro comparison for Lafreniere.
Alrighty, here we go. I guess Los Angeles Kings are now on the clock. We're going to have Billy take our number two pick.
All right. So, this guy has kind of risen up here towards the end. So, for most of the year, Quentin Byfield was at number 2, but just recently we've had a little bit of a horse race here. So, with the second overall pick, the Los Angeles Kings select Tim Stützle out of Germany.
Ooh,
Wow.
interesting.
This is another prospect that I love in this class. Left-handed center. Um, he can
He
not a
mostly-
huge guy, at 6 foot 187, but very very solid. He doesn't play like he's tiny. He can shoot the puck. He can skate, and great German prospect. The other key thing is that he's a center. The LA Kings took Turcotte last year, but he really looks like a 2C. They're a team that needs that 1C, and when you're picking in the top 3, this is where you get it. So they're going to go ahead and take the swing, a little bit of a risk. I know Byfield has been the guy for most of the year, but, just recently, even in Bob McKenzie's latest rankings, Stützle has passed Byfield. So I'm all on board for that. I've been on board for that all year because I love this kid. Yeah, he's going at 2.
All right, let me get a current NHL comparable for him as well.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Or a ceiling player, if that
Um,
makes it a little bit easier.
I think that if I have to give him a compare, I think Claude Giroux is a good comparison.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one solid 1C, can play well in both ends, but really known for his offense. For
Stutzel
sure.
also plays a lot of wing too, so
He does. He can play wing if Turcotte does turn out to be that 1C.
yeah. All right.
All right, here we go with pick number 3. Looks like we got the Ottawa Senators are now on the clock. Here we go, Marshall.
Really quick, I'd just like to say the Senators have repositioned themselves very well. Getting this draft from San Jose. I know Sharks fans are probably not really liking this Erik Karlsson deal at this point, but a couple years ago, I thought that the Senators would just absolutely be abysmal for the next 10 years, but they have 2 of the top 5 picks, and I'm going to be picking both of them here. So, all right. The Ottawa Senators are proud to select from the Ontario Hockey League, Quentin Byfield.
Ooh.
And I feel like this one's extremely easy for me. I mean, if you're looking at, I'm not saying he's McDavid, but in terms of just like McDavid light skill and skating ability, this kid is up there.
Yeah.
He was my second favorite player in the draft all year long. I thought it was going to be even like a close race between him and Lafreniere at the beginning of the year, but Lafreniere just kind of exploded and ran away with that number one consensus pick. But yeah, this is an easy one for me. I'm not going to say that his pro comparison is a Connor McDavid, but if you have a Connor McDavid light, that's who Quentin Byfield is to me.
Interesting. Okay, we're moving on to probably our most hated team through us three, the Detroit Red Wings, picking at number 4. Billy, go ahead and take it away. You're on the clock.
All right, so this is another surprising one, but anyone who saw my mock draft on Twitter, if you haven't already, check it out at Off-Brand Avs. I'm taking the Detroit Red Wings with the 4th overall pick select from the United States National Development Team, Jake Sanderson.
Oh.
Another late riser, but yeah, so you'll get it in my explanation. Drysdale widely considered the number 1 defenseman in the class, but we know that Detroit just last year took Moritz Seider 6th overall. If they were to take Drysdale again, then they would be taking 2 right-handed defensemen in the top 6 in back-to-back years. Sanderson has really started to close the gap on Drysdale in the late process here. So, like, these are closer than a lot of people think. You know, there are scouts on NHL teams that do have Sanderson above Drysdale right now. And Sanderson has a left-handed shot, which somewhat surprising for the American player to have the left-handed shot and the Canadian to have the right. But you know, if you're Detroit, you just took your right-handed defenseman in the last draft at 6th overall. Now you're sitting at 4th. You're like, hey, we could get another top-pairing defenseman. But there's 2 players. They're both real close. One of them's a righty and one of them's a lefty. I'm leaning towards the lefty, and I think it might pay off because I think Sanderson is right in that same tier as Drysdale. I think this is a 2-headed defensive class. So I think that this is... If you can get some Vegas odds on this one, this is a bet I would like to place. Just as like, this is a dark horse pick that I really think could happen.
Interesting. Do you have an NHL comparable for him?
I do not. Just a
solid,
general 2-way defenseman.
Okay.
Like a Seth Jones.
Seth Jones type.
Yeah, there you go. Seth Jones is a good one.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Number 5, the Ottawa Senators are back up. Marshall, go ahead and take it away.
So the Senators are jumping out of their seats to select Jamie Drysdale from the Ontario Hockey League's Erie Otters. Billy just touched on it. This is a bit of a 2-headed defensive class, but in my opinion, Drysdale is the best defenseman in this draft. And if the Senators can lock down, in my opinion, the 2nd overall best player, and then the top defenseman, they're getting an A+++ from me. So, yeah, like this is an absolute like 1-2 punch that they're adding to maybe even their roster next season. I don't know if Drysdale is really entirely pro ready yet. I do think that Quentin Byfield is, but still, the Ottawa Senators.
I don't know. I'd give Byfield another year in the OHL.
Really? You think he's really big?
Yeah.
He's 6'4", 215.
But his game isn't. I don't think his game is quite there. I think I guess maybe on the Senators he'll play, but I think there's a good chance he goes back. The only guy in this class that I would 100% drop into the NHL is Lafreniere. I think everyone else could use a year.
Okay. Either way, a couple years down the line, like Ottawa's, their forward core is coming together really nicely, and then a defensive core of Shabbat, Brandstrom, and Drysdale. That's going to be pretty scary.
All right. Interesting picks. We're taking it out west. Number 6, the Anaheim Ducks. Billy, go ahead and take it away.
All right, you threw me off there because I kind of had a winger penciled in for the Senators, so I was The Ducks were definitely praying that a defenseman could fall to them because they desperately need one, particularly a right-handed one. But at this point in the board, it's 6th overall. There's no one worth reaching for here. So they're going to go ahead and they grabbed Zegras last year to be their 1C of the future. This year they're going to grab their 2C because at 6th overall, the Anaheim Ducks select from the OHL Marco Rossi.
Okay.
This is a guy that I think plays like Claude Giroux.
I think he could. I think that this is probably like your custom-built 2C. He's one of the most NHL-ready players in the class. Like I said, I'd give everyone a year. But definitely, this is a one-year guy. I think he's playing next year for sure. Well, the following year. You know what I mean, for sure. Pro player comparison, I'll go ahead and give you that now. I think he's Braden Point. I think he looks a lot like Braden Point. One of the smartest players in this class, defensively responsible, and really, I like him. I think he can fit in on pretty much any team, which is I strongly considered taking him for Detroit. I think they could have used him as well. But there is not a team in the NHL that wouldn't love to have Marco Rossi on their team. Yeah,
another thing is he led the CHL in scoring with 120 points in 56 games. So it's not like he doesn't have that offensive, electricity to him. So
yeah, absolutely. He can play he's very strong on both ends.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7, looks like we got the New Jersey Devils on the clock. Marshall, go ahead and take it away.
So I am the New Jersey Devils are Alexander Holtz from the Swedish Elite League.
Really?
Yes. This is one.
I'm surprised to see Holtz over Raymond.
I like Holtz better than Raymond.
I do too, but that's because I like the shots. I think if I had to predict, I think that Raymond goes first, but definitely I like Holtz too. Go ahead and tell us more about him.
Well, so they already have their centers of the future in check with Hischier and Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that's not afraid to shoot the puck. He's a very strong skater, highly skilled, like I was saying, both him and Raymond. I think this is a guy that is going to fit really well next to either Hischier or Jack Hughes, or who are both a little bit of pass first type of guys. But he's also able to skate with both of them. This is one of my favorite players in the entire draft. I think in terms of upside, Holtz could end up being one of the better players in the next few years that comes out of this draft. But my pro comparison for him is a little bit of an Alex Nylander type. Very skilled. Pretty much the same size. He's 6 foot, 192. Has a very good shot like Nylander, although Nylander likes to sail the puck a lot. But yeah, so that's my pick for the New Jersey Devils, and I think they're pretty proud about that.
So at number 8, we got the Buffalo Sabres picking last. Billy, what do you got for us?
Okay, so the board broke not so well for Buffalo. This is a team praying that a center could follow them. They're begging that they're hoping that somehow they can get Marco Rossi. It didn't break well for him this time, so they still desperately need a center. So what they're going to do here is the Buffalo Sabres select Cole Perfetti. I would play him at wing, but if you're Buffalo at this point, you're really looking between Raymond and Perfetti, and you're saying, well, Perfetti is more likely to be able to play that center position. I think he's Nick Suzuki, but a better version of Nick Suzuki.
Yeah.
He could be a very, very strong center in the future. He could good 2C behind Jack Eichel, but I think it's more likely that he plays on Eichel's wing down the line. Like I said, Buffalo, they need help all across the board. They could definitely use some wings, but they were really hoping to get a 2C here. The only position they're really set at is defense with Dahlin, Ristolainen, Montour,
Yeah.
Yoki Haru. But yeah, I think Perfetti is a good value here. I love the player. I just think that the board didn't break great for Buffalo in this particular instance.
He is another one of those centers that plays a really nice two-way game.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's exactly what Buffalo needs. Although, like
Which
you were
is funny.
saying,
Usually those aren't my type, but I keep drafting them.
what's that?
Usually those aren't my type of players, but I seem to keep drafting them in this mock.
Me either. But yeah, like you were saying, Marco Rossi would have been the ideal pick for the Sabres, but I don't even see Rossi getting past the Ducks or the Devils. So
yeah, it's not. Oh, I don't think the Devils would take him. They're too stacked at center, but
yeah, that's true. Actually,
I think I think he has a hard time sliding past the Ducks unless Drysdale slides to the Ducks, and then it's possible. But it would take a weird chain of events for Rossi to get to Buffalo. A team that maybe trades up